Hello everyone. I'm going to do another video regarding kind of coaching, and I'm going to sneak this one into kind of your first official paperwork when it comes to observing. Now, I know many of us have our typical walkthroughs and we do our notes. What I've noticed is in that first month, it really needs to be more of a checklist, and I'm going to show you what I've kind of created over my years. But just a checklist of are you doing, are you not doing, and kind of a guide. So I am telling you that I'm utilizing this checklist from my days of working with KHDAs, private schools in Dubai, because there's some specific language that is very important for us to start looking at in order to determine our ratings of weak, acceptable, and good. So I would turn around and tell you to take whatever value that you have, whatever teaching and learning authority you have, and utilize the same language. So here is kind of just like the very first pieces up here. I did change this and updated it for is this online or face-to-face. But just to check, do I see student-driven objectives? Did I witness efficient use of student time? Did I see questioning strategies by students? Did I see questioning strategies by teacher? Did I see active student engagement? Did I see vocabulary strategies skills? Was it being taught at the appropriate verb level? Student is really not completed. I'll explain that later. Student understands the objectives of the day. I actually go and always ask 3 students, can you explain to me what you're learning today? And I really do right here, write down exactly what they say. If the kid says, I don't know, I write down, I don't know. If the student says, we're learning about science, whatever the student says, I give this little extra space so I can write down exactly what the student says. So it's not biased on, I think that they understand or not. It's really what the student says. And it's very telling. So I will always go to 3 random students and write down, can you tell me what you're learning today? Or can you explain to me what you're learning today? And that's telling. Methods for checking for understanding. That's one of the big things that I do with my teachers. It's always, how are we checking for understanding? How do you know? So that's another one where I just don't check off. I actually write down, what did I see? I saw a turn and talk. Okay, I saw a teach back. I saw a thumbs up, thumbs down. I saw a self-rating. I saw an exit ticket. Like, I'll write down those action points. Points to consider is the feedback that I'm giving. And then here is this checklist. And teacher has thorough knowledge of their subject. I check yes, no, or partial. And once again, this comes directly from my district. I'm utilizing their language because what I've noticed is, in order for us to start bridging, this is not all of their language. Actually, it has 30 different points, but these were the 10 most crucial. And what happened is, if you want to do the checklists up here and then just have your points to consider, that's fine. I've been in turnaround schools that had to turn around due to accreditation. And so what happened is, even though we were having these conversations here, I wasn't seeing the urgency from the teachers. So I end up having to create these data points down here so they could understand to what level we were being evaluated on. Because many times the level they think they are on is not the level that they're actually on. So I had to start using the language of the auditing agency, I would say. Also, these 3 here, if you're KHDA, these are your most 3 crucial pieces. And I will go through this when I really break down the KHDA observation protocol. This is where I script out what I saw in the class. I'll explain that later. I always write in evidence-based only. I write factual. I don't say students were active. I will say 15 out of 18 students participated in the question. 12 out of 24 raised their hand. So it's just really, really descriptive. I time, date, almost everything, so I need that space to write. So I'm showing you that, and then because of distance learning, and now I would say COVID, but now that we're all trying to be less wasteful, I did change it to this Google form where I can collect the data, and I'm going to actually put this in preview so you can see, and where my HODs or my department heads are going through. In the email address, I'm actually putting in the teacher's email address, so it emails straight to the teacher's name, then the department, because I do want to start disaggregating that data, the date of the walkthrough, the time of the walkthrough, and then the following instructional strategies we just saw. This is a checklist now of what was seen and what was not seen. So they will just click that. And then we're focusing a lot on question stems. So I wanted to see the question stems that were observed because we tend to have lower level and not higher order thinking. So right there in the actual observation time, we're listening to the question stems to see if they stayed low level or if they moved towards the higher order thinking. And then this was the feedback. So in case teachers were giving really good questions, my team can write out just those stems or different stems they heard if they did not hear any question stems. Methods observed for checking for understanding, the same thing. I have an extra question here, so I will move that. And then this is, like I said, big. Were there 3 or more checking for understanding methods witnessed? Which also can be alluded to the lesson plan. And the answer is yes or no, because we are trying to go for at least 3 to 4. And that's data that I want to see. How long was the observational time? So we know exactly what our observation should be. Should be 10 minutes, 10 to 15. And then these is just the notes that you have. Like I said before, we have our KHDA teaching and learning tracking. So those same questions I put in here as a requirement for my team to do so we can get our data. Was this happening? Yes, no, or partial? Yes, no, or partial. And then if you know Google Forms on the back end is going to populate a graph of what our teachers and our classrooms are looking like. So this would be all of that there to help build our school and our capacity. So this is what we're starting with in October with our walkthroughs. This should be started at by the beginning first week in October, but I know everybody's kind of moving slow because of just trying to get acclimated to the distance learning. But this is what we will be doing for our instructional portions of pretty much our informal observation. Now, I will say that this checklist can definitely change and move, adjusting to what you're focused on. Like I said, my teachers sometimes have to focus on our first level things. So if I want to move this or add anything, I definitely will, because those are the things that we do. This checklist is evolving. It grows. It grows with what your school is doing. So that's it, and I will talk with you later.